believe that honesty really has benefits. So I'd like to tell you a story about this. Early on in our life, Dee and I moved as a pastor to a little town in Alabama. 2,000 people. If you know anything about small towns, it's really hard to be accepted in a small town. I mean, you have to live there for 50 years and they still think you're a visitor. So I knew that in order for us to be effective in this small town, we'd gone there to try to help this small church grow. It was a county seat. It was a really nice place. But I knew that we would need to be accepted. So I tried different ways to ingratiate myself to the community. I volunteered to coach the tennis team, and I volunteered to coach the girls basketball team at the local private school, and that helped because we did very well. I went to football games with the men. There was a rook parlor in the town at the back of the feed store where all the guys gathered and played rook, so I did that. And so I got to know the guys pretty well and heard them talk, and I heard them that one of their main interests was deer hunting. This was a really important thing in the area. People came there to do it from other places, a lot of deer. You know, it was a really good area for deer hunting. So I was thinking, well, maybe I need to start deer hunting to get to know the people. Well, hunting, I'm not very big on hunting because when I grew up, my father was a big hunter, my grandfather, but they never really taught me how to hunt. I can remember my father taking me out and tying me to a tree while he hunted and coming back and getting me. I remember one time I went with my father and grandfather, and they secretly took the shells out of my shotgun, so I hunted all day without any ammunition in my gun. So I really am not a big hunter, but I'm willing to do it if it's going to help, you know, our ministry. So I was talking to this guy about it. He said, well, let me show you my stand. Now, a stand normally in deer hunting is like a plywood, little small plywood thing you sit in while you watch for the deer. I don't know why you would enjoy doing that, but that's what it is. So he took me out to his stand. And I was expecting one of these little places when we go out and we drive up and there's stairs going up to this tree house. It's like a, you know, a really fancy tree house. We walk up, we go in, it's soundproof, it's air conditioned, it has a heater, it has a coffee pot, it even has a little tube that you can go to the bathroom and it goes out, it flows out to the back of the stand. So you can sit up there and talk, and drink coffee, and look out on this field. And it has a window you can open, and even has a place for you to lay your gun. I said, well, this doesn't seem very fair, you know what I mean? But I wanted to be a hunter. I wanted to get to know these guys, so we waited around, and pretty soon a bunch of deer came out in the field. He said, shoot you one. I said, well, I don't have a gun. He loaned me his gun. And so I picked one out, a buck, and shot him. Didn't seem too excited. I didn't get too excited about it. It seemed, like I said, it seemed kind of unfair. But we took the deer back to town, and he showed me where we could get it ground up into the meat ground up into hamburger, and that was nice to have that for the winter. So I started going hunting with the guys. I had in my church a guy that owned a gun shop, and so I bought a 30-06 with a scope and started going hunting with the guys. They had all these places they hunted. They were wide open, lots of space, hundreds of yards, and they had these stands set up at different places, and they were the traditional kind of stand, these little bitty boxy kind of things. So I wasn't too excited about it, but I wanted to be with them, so I went. and I would take my briefcase along with my gun, and I would read. I would read in the stand and glance out at the field occasionally. So I was there one day. I'd been there several times, not ever taking a shot. And I looked out in the field. There were 14 deer in the field, about 250 yards away. And I see there are 4 bucks. So I said, well, I can't let this opportunity go by. They won't like me if I don't hunt on the hunt. So I pick out this buck and I shot it. And about that, it was getting later in the evening, and the truck came by to pick me up. I said, I got one. We went out and looked in the field, and it wasn't a buck, it was a doe. Oh. And it wasn't doe season. And I didn't know at the time, but they have really strict laws about this. If you shoot a deer out of season, it's a $1,000 fine, and they take your gun and your car. And I said, well, what do I do about this? I mean, I thought I shot this buck and I shot this doe. They said, well, just kick him over in the ditch and don't worry about it. That's what everybody else does. I said, no, I can't do that. I broke the law. So I made them take me back to town and drop me off at the police station, which was right down the block down the street from my house. Carried the deer in, laid him on the table, told the sheriff, hey, I broke the law. I killed a doe out of season. I didn't mean to do it, but I did it. Would you call the game warden? So he calls the game warden, and the game warden has never had this happen before. He didn't know what to do. So he said, I don't know what to do. I said, well, I just want to let you know I didn't mean to shoot the doe. I was trying to shoot a buck, and I must have missed and hit the doe. And he said, well, do you need the meat? And I said, yeah, I could use that. And so I took the deer back and we had him processed as well. That became infamous in the town. Word spread like wildfire. Everybody by the next day had heard, the pastor shot a doe, the pastor shot a doe. He turned himself in, And everywhere I went for the next year, they had a lot of fun with it. I would be walking down the street, somebody would stick his head out of a store and go, back, back. If I was driving by, they'd back, back. So they had a lot of fun with it, but also found out that people really respected the fact that I did something that they probably wouldn't have done. That I was honest. I had integrity. I did not kick him over in the ditch. I didn't know what the penalty was, but I was willing to take a penalty if that was necessary to do the right thing. The funny thing was, maybe it was just me, but I felt like they accepted me. And also a funny thing, people started coming to my church. People started coming that probably would not have come, and the church started growing even more than it had been. It already was growing, but it started growing. And because I believe they respected the fact that I was honest. So, do you believe that honesty is the best policy? If you don't, you probably need to reevaluate, because honesty gives you blessings that you might not realize you will get, both in this life and in the life to come.